A lot of people ask me, well, what is Prodovite? Well, Prodovite is an amazing liquid. In fact, it's a liquid and it looks just like this. This is a 1 ounce of Prodovite. And it comes in a bottle like this. And there's 30 ounces in the bottle. That's a month's worth of the Prodovite. And what in the world is this stuff? Why are you so excited about it? Well, for those of you who know me, you know that back in the 90s I was president of a medical corporation. I worked with the Food and Drug Administration in Rockville, Maryland, and I worked with the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. And I had some phenomenal experiences, but I learned some fundamental, simple things about wellness, about health. Now, my first experience in wellness was back in 1968, probably before a lot of you were born. And I got involved with a company called Nutrilite, and I learned some scientific facts about nutrition. We can eat all day long, but if we don't assimilate what we eat, it doesn't have any value to us. So most of us today, in our culture, a lot of us at least, eat processed foods. Well, a lot of those foods have no value whatsoever. They're just like eating cardboard. They go into your body, they make you feel good, but you don't gain any muscle from them. You don't gain any strength from them. It doesn't work at the cellular level. So back this past Father's Day, we were visiting some friends. We were doing ministry. Patricia and I were doing ministry in Manassas, Virginia, in that area, down in Woodbridge, Virginia. And on the Sunday morning of Father's Day, I got an email from somebody that had put a comment on one of my videos, and it talked about Prodovite. Well, I didn't know what this stuff was, and so I got on the internet and I started doing a search. And I tried to get a hold of the person that sent me that information, but I couldn't get a hold of them. And finally, I ran down somebody that was involved in the business, and she had so much integrity that she wanted to make sure that person got credit for whatever I did, but he wasn't in the business. So I became involved in the business through her. Her name is Gina Bender, and I ordered some product, and I started taking this product. But let me tell you what got me started in the first place. I had a lot of experience in understanding nutrition. When I was president of the medical corporation in Virginia, in Washington, D.C., actually, the corporation was Alive Tech Incorporated, and we were getting approval for medical devices for Eastern European countries. And, at one point, the fellow who was the equivalent to the Surgeon General in America, Vladimir Zhirkovsky from Russia, used to come and stay at my home. Sergei Sitko, who was the top nuclear physicist in Kiev in Russia, used to come stay at my home. I had an opportunity to meet some phenomenal people and learn an awful lot. But what I learned was there's a foundational principle in life. And there's something that we can't do without. And if we have to do without it for just a few minutes, we're dead. And that's oxygen. And so what I learned was oxygen has tremendous value in our youthfulness and our health and our vitality and our vibrancy. So back in 2009, I had written a paper, a booklet called Oxygen Deprivation Syndrome. And in that booklet, I explained what we needed, and if we could just find it, then we would all be much healthier. Well, that was in 2009. So in 2016, I found this product, and it's called Prodovite. And what in the world is it? Well, it's a liquid product, and this is what it looks like. And I'm not going to pour some out of the bottle, but this is what it looks like. It's a liquid product that you put in your mouth and put it under your tongue, and sublingually, your body begins to absorb it. Well, I know foundationally that the life of the body is in the circulatory system. It's in the blood. Now, we have two blood systems. We have a red blood system and a clear blood system. Now, in 1492, when we landed here in this continent, us Europeans, us people of European descent, we met with Native Americans. And Native Americans were teaching us at that time that there were two blood systems. That was in 1492. In 1961, Dr. Guyton, who was the father of pathology in this country, or I'm sorry, the father of physiology in this country, started writing about the lymph system. But the medical world didn't want to touch it, so he took it to the military. And most of the research was done through the military. Well, as a young boy, I lived near Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C., so I had a few connections there. And I got a hold of some of this research. This is back in the 60s now. Now, remember, this was late 60, early 70. But I learned some simple fundamental things, and I'm going to explain them to you. Now, I've written about these things, and I've put them out on the internet, and I've been blasted by medical doctors all over the place because the medical world is, I'm sad to say, it's about the money more than it's about health. And so when you learn what I'm going to share with you, you'll understand a lot more about how your body works. Well, we know that the blood affects everything. Everything in the body is affected by the circulatory system because something carries oxygen, water, and nutrients to the cells. And what carries them is lymph cells. Now, in the red blood system, we have leukocytes, which are white blood cells in the red blood system, and they go into the capillaries and they leak into the lymph system, and then they're called lymphocytes. So leukocytes and lymphocytes are the same cell. The only difference is, where are they? Are they in the red blood system or are they in the lymph system? Well, it's the lymphocytes that carry nutrition to the cells, carry water to the cells, carry oxygen to the cells, pick up the waste from the cells, come back up through the thoracic duct, and go back into the red blood system for you to excrete the wastes. And that's how the body works. Now, I'm going to tell you something where 70% liquid and 80% of that is leukocytes and lymphocytes. So 56% of our body is this part of the circulatory system. Well, Prodovite enhances the leukocytes and the lymphocytes in assimilating water and oxygen. That's huge. That's huge. Well, I got my first bottle of Prodovite. Like I said, it was back right after Father's Day. And the first day I took an ounce, and this is an ounce. In fact, I went to Walmart and I got these. I think this is made by Anchor. It's a little Anchor 1 ounce cup. 1 ounce, because it's easy for me. I like to pour it in here because what I found was if I put a little bit under my tongue at a time, I can hold it for a while. Now, in the bottle, it says hold it 30 seconds, but the longer you hold it, the more value it has. So I put maybe a third of it under my tongue, and I hold it for a few minutes, and I swallow it. Then I put another third under my tongue, and I try to get at least 3 or 4 minutes of holding it in my mouth. Because here's what happens. Under the tongue, it goes into your blood system sublingually almost immediately. And within just 5 minutes, only in 5 minutes, your blood is no longer aggregated or stuck together. It becomes independent. Now, think about going down the highway. You're going down the highway 2 cars at a time, and there's a roadblock in 1 lane. What happens? Everything gets backed up, right? And so as the cars finally get into the 1 lane part of it to go through, they speed back up again. Well, it's the same way with the blood system. When our blood cells are stuck together, it's harder for them to move. And so our blood pressure has to go up in order to push the blood through the cells, through the veins and arteries and capillaries. It has to so our blood pressure goes up. Well, as soon as you eat Prodovite under your tongue, within 5 minutes, your blood cells are independent. So immediately, guess what happens? Well, common sense, your circulation increases. So what would that do to blood pressure? Well, you can figure that out for yourself. You know, I'm giving you this stuff like a farmer, because I'm really a farmer at heart. But I just happen to have been in the health field for a long time. So that's what Prodovite basically does. But it also has nutritional value when it goes into your small intestine, and it releases slowly. And there's a whole proteasome technology that I won't even get into it, because underneath this video you can go to willgreen.us and you can go to a site and you can dig through all kinds of information. All kinds of information. In fact, if you want a lot more, if you'll drop me an email to encouragementtemple@gmail.com, I'll send you all sorts of information, because this is really important. Now look, I'm 72 years old. And before I got onto Prodovite, every afternoon about 4 o'clock, I'd kind of go through a little bump and I take a nap for an hour. Hardly ever do I ever take a nap anymore. I'm 72. My energy levels increased dramatically. I was an 8 or 9 hour a night guy that slept 8 or 9 hours every night. Now I'm sleeping 6 or 7 hours a night and getting the same amount of rest and having the same energy that I had with 8 or 9 hours a night. Now, is that a change? Absolutely. Now, I'm really healthy. I was really healthy when I started. But people that aren't as healthy as I am, they get a shift really, really quickly. So we got our first bottles, and I did 1 ounce the first day, and the second day I thought, I'm going to do 2 ounces. I'm going to do 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And the second day, my wife decided she was going to do 1 ounce, and she did 1 ounce in the morning. And after a little, I don't remember how long it was, but after a while, she started doing 1 ounce in the morning and 1 ounce at night. And then I talked to Bill Downs, the formulator, the scientist behind all this, who also is the CEO of the company. And I had several conversations with him. And, he said, well, you can do it more times and you get more benefit. So I started doing it morning, noon, and night. I started doing it 3 times a day. And I did that for a couple months. And now I'm down to twice a day all the time, and sometimes I do it a third time. But, it's $65 a bottle wholesale, and it's $85 a bottle retail. So it's not inexpensive. So I thought, so it got to the point that Patricia and I were going through 5 bottles a month between the two of us. Well, 5 times 65 is what? $325 plus shipping. So say $350 a month that we were spending on the product. Well, that's a lot of money. But you know what happened? I started sharing it with my friends, and pretty soon it was earning more money than we were spending. In fact, last month we netted over $600 or $700 after we bought our own product, after our product was paid for. Now, how does that happen? Well, it's one of the ways that I earn income to support the ministry so that we can do our ministry and we can pay our bills. And so I started out and I got involved, and my closest friends, I introduced it to them, and they got involved, and they started getting the product for themselves. And then other people got involved, and they introduced people, and every time they introduced people, that earned us a little bit of a commission. But here's the cool part. We got involved as a distributor, as an independent distributor in Prodovite at 0 cost. It's free. There's no sign-up charges. There's no distributor charges, and you even get we even gave us a free website. In fact, if you go to willgreen.us, I link that right to my website in Prodovite. And when you go there, you can either register to become a distributor like we did, or you can buy the product at retail. You can do either one. But if you start getting healthy and you start sharing your testimony with other people, they start getting healthier. Well, do you realize that there's almost 50 people now in our little group since we started this thing, and it's growing on its own? And when you start sharing it with folks, they start sharing with folks, and they start sharing with folks. Well, there's a couple things that you need to know, because if you want to get into it with us as a business, and of course, every time you get some product, we earn a little bit of commission, which is how we pay for all the videos, and we pay for this video studio, and we pay for everything else that we do. That's how we do it, because it's one of the ways that we earn money. When you get involved with us, in order for you to earn any commissions, you have to order 2 bottles a month, which is $130 a month plus shipping, and you have to have introduced at least one person. And once you've introduced someone and they've signed up in your little business. But here's the other part of it. Do you know that the IRS tax code was designed for business owners? So when you get involved in this business at no cost to you, and you buy your product at wholesale, you're automatically in business. Then you start to get some tax advantages. So if you go on a trip somewhere and you share the product with people, it becomes the tax write-off. And this is all legitimate and legal. This is what the tax code was designed for. You can write off the expenses that you have if you have take a couple to dinner, and you take them to dinner for the purpose of sharing the product with them. You can write half of the cost of that dinner off of your taxes. That's the tax write-off. So it's a tremendous tax advantage for people also. So here's what I would suggest to you. I don't just I really don't hardly trust anybody. I really don't. I trust the Father. I trust my wife, but everybody else, I really don't trust people. You have to prove it to me. So here's my suggestion to you. Go to willgreen.us and order a bottle and start taking it, and take it for a month and see what it does for you. And if you start to get a lot more energy like I did, you might want to order 2 bottles and start taking it once in the morning and once at night. And if you have a spouse, you might want to order 4 bottles, and each of you can take it, twice a day. But here's the thing. Try it for a month. You can register for free, no cost. You can purchase your first bottles at wholesale, no obligation. You don't have to order any more. You get your free website. You can go to your own website. You can get all kinds of information. As a matter of fact, I've written a booklet, I told you, Oxygen Deprivation Syndrome, and I would love to give you a free copy of that. But you need to drop me an email at encouragementtemple@gmail.com. Encouragement Temple. It's right below this video. It's right below it. So send me a note and say I want the book. If you decide to get involved in this enterprise with us, and you decide to help other people get healthy, and you want to get as young and vibrant as I am at 72, and maybe you're older than I am, or maybe you're younger, you're not quite so healthy. Maybe you got some physical issues. Life is in the blood. Life is in the blood. When your blood gets healthy, your whole body gets healthier. So I challenge you. What have you got to lose? $65 plus shipping. That's what you got to lose. And you really don't have to lose that because it's got a money-back guarantee. But just, don't sit there and say, well, I don't believe it. Try it. Experience the benefits. When you experience it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Because think about this. I don't know of anything else that you can put in your mouth, and in 5 minutes, your aggregated blood cells break loose, and they're all independent. I don't know of anything else. So give it a shot. Give it a try. You don't have to do the business if you don't want to, but give it a try. Do yourself a favor and get as much energy as I've got. And, if I'm not right, tell me about it. Fuss at me. I'm not here to prove anything to you. I just want to be as healthy as I can be because I've got a lot of work to do. And I'm married to a younger woman, and I got to keep up with her. And man, this stuff is fantastic. So God bless you. Give it a try.